Hello. It's great to see everybody, and we're thrilled that you were selected to be part of this group that we only started a few years ago. And we started it because we recognize all that you all do, how strong leadership and service is, and how you've made a commitment to having that be a part of what you do at SSPPS and within our family. And we're so very proud that that is how you've chosen to lead, and that we expect that when you become pharmacists, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to continue to lead and have a strong advancement of our profession, which is, you're going to be our future thought leaders. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the wonderful things that you're going to do. But leadership and serving our patients and our community are just really hallmarks of key aspects that I took away when I was a student. And, being part of leadership within your school is kind of just your first step in your professional career. There's so many opportunities once you graduate. So you're all well on your way. And so rather than make this our PLS or Phi Lambda Sigma at our school its own separate org where that you do more outreaches and you fundraise and you do more things, what we did at our school is so many of you are involved in orgs that already have so many outreach opportunities and leadership opportunities that we just didn't want to burden our small student body with even more. So when I went to Dean McCarrow a few years ago and talked to him about this and being able to recognize all of you for what you represent and all of the wonderful leadership that you do within our school and our community within our profession, he was really very supportive, and I'm really grateful for that. And so that's why at Phi Lambda Sigma at our school is more of a recognition from our faculty, from our school, of the leadership and strong leadership that you all possess. And we want to recognize it, and we also want to encourage you to have that same commitment when you become a pharmacist as well.
Hello, everyone. So as you can see, Dr. Morello is on an island somewhere in the Pacific. The breezes are coming up in the afternoon. It's okay because it's very hot there. And I'm in a city park at another time of day, somewhere else in the world, but who cares? But I just want to welcome all of you and just echo what Dr. Morello said, is that we are so proud of you. We're so proud of what you've done already in terms of what you've accomplished as leaders, sometimes in a clinic, sometimes at the free clinics, sometimes out in the community. It's really remarkable. And what I really want to emphasize to you is, yes, we are very proud of you now, but we don't want you to just stop being leaders when you graduate. I think that what you've learned and what you will learn before you graduate is something that you will take with you to whatever job you have. And when you enter that job, I want to make sure that you enter that job thinking, someday, if not immediately, someday I'm going to take a leadership role in this job. I'm really going to be someone who instructs other people, trains other people, encourages other people in what they do in this job. And so I think part of the recognition today of you is a recognition that it's not just that you've become a leader now, and we saw that. It's that you will be a leader after you graduate, and we will really look forward to following your career as alumni. So again, welcome, congratulations, and I'll turn things back to Dr. Morello for the next part of this event.
Okay, I guess I just do also want to acknowledge that we're in a pandemic. And this is how we do things now. We have to think of all kinds of new things, and your leadership team has prepared for this. And this is, so we all have your packets. Normally, your name would be called out. We'd give you a certificate, and we would, Dr. Matt Sagamian or I would do our very best to pin properly the pin on you. I hope you've all practiced because, right? Hopefully. And then, you know, we would have the candle lighting ceremony and all of that as well. So we just are doing things a little bit differently this year. So with that, I'd like to introduce Ari, which, there she is.
Hi, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. So we're going to start the initiation ceremony, and my Vice President, Quinny, will help me do that.
Hi, everyone. Let me begin. President, I present these individuals to you for initiation into Phi Lambda Sigma.
Each of you has in Phi Lambda Sigma because of the outstanding qualities of leadership and service which you or the person you are representing have demonstrated in or for the profession of pharmacy. And because we believe that you have the moral character, the ethical standards, and the leadership ability to advance pharmacy to the highest level.
Phi Lambda Sigma is the Pharmacy Leadership Society. Our goal is to recognize outstanding leaders directly in or in support of our profession. The symbol of this society is the key which you are about to receive. It bears a mortar and pestle, long recognized as a symbol of the ethic pharmacist. The mortar and pestle on your pin, which you will get, which bears the letters of Phi Lambda Sigma, is surrounded by a wreath of laurel, symbolic of leadership and wisdom. The date of our founding, 1965, appears below the mortar and the pestle. Our colors are green and gold, green symbolizing strength and gold symbolizing fitness of character.
As we of Phi Lambda Sigma have done before you, so are you required to taking the following oath. Will you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly promise.
I do solemnly promise.
I do solemnly promise.
To uphold.
To uphold.
To uphold.
To uphold.
Uphold.
The standards.
The standards.
The standards.
And ideals.
And ideals.
An ideal.
Of Phi Lambda Sigma.
Of Phi Lambda Sigma.
To work for.
To work for.
The advancement.
The advancement.
Of pharmacy.
Of pharmacy.
Through leadership.
Through leadership.
And service.
And service.
And to practice.
And to practice.
The duties.
The duties.
Of my profession.
Of my
profession.
With dignity.
With dignity.
Knowledge. Ethics.
Knowledge, ethics.
And a genuine concern.
And a genuine concern.
For the well-being.
For the well-being.
Of those I serve.
Of those I serve.
Please come up to the front as I call your name to receive your certificate and your pin. Kelly Chan.
Yeah, walk right up there, Kelly.
I'm trying to be fast.
In those heels, right?
Yeah, always.
Next, we have Andrew Dang.
Oh yeah, that's the hard part.
Next is Rock Feng.
Next, we have Christopher Gonzalez.
Next, we have Anthony Huynh.
Nice.
Next, we have David Sung Kim.
Next, we have Heidi Kim.
Is that Aaron?
Oh
Next, we have Kimberly Lai.
Ah, smart.
Next, we have Elliot Lam.
Next, we have Stephanie Lamb.
Next, we have Annie Mai.
Next, we have Tanner Melton.
Next up is Matthew Mitchell.
Next is Ganon Nguyen.
Next is Vi Nguyen.
Next is Victoria Nguyen.
You
guys are great.
Next is Tenny Papelian.
Next is Jeff Pang.
Next is Anthony Quach.
Next, we have Jeffrey Rodriguez.
Next, we have Amanpreet Sarai.
Next is Karen Ciazon.
Next is Monica Sliwa.
Next is Urvashi Somani.
Next is Linda Tran.
Next is Vivian Tran.
Next is Julie Trin.
Next, we have Ni Trong.
Next up is Lauren To.
Next is Hillary Velasquez.
Next up is Nguyen Vo.
I'm telling you, those collars are the toughest. Good job.
Next is Allison Vu.
Next up is Catherine Wu.
Next, we have Erin Yamanaka. I would also like to recognize Kenson Lam, Kelly Ma, and Nikhil Mohan. They couldn't join us tonight, but we'd like to still recognize them.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Just as the lighting of many candles from one does not diminish the light of the initial flame, so too adding other leaders to our circle does not diminish, but rather strengthens the existing members so that together we can strengthen and shed light on our profession. As members of Phi Lambda Sigma, you are expected to uphold the high standards of our society and our profession in your own work. Further, you are expected to dedicate yourself to the further advancement of pharmacy through exemplary leadership, character, encouragement, and achievement. I now declare you duly initiated into Phi Lambda Sigma. Upon initiation, each of you accepted a charge to uphold the high ideals of Phi Lambda Sigma, to promote pharmacy, and to strive for professionalism and leadership in the field of pharmacy. In becoming an officer, you are accepting a role of greater responsibility in our society. When I call your name, please step forward and raise your right hand and repeat after me. Erin Yamanaka and Karen Ciazon. Are you ready? Okay. I do solemnly promise
I do solemnly promise
to carry out the duties
to carry out the duties
of the office of President and Vice President
of the office of President and Vice President
as stated in the Constitution
as stated in the Constitution
and bylaws
and bylaws
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
to cooperate with the other officers
to cooperate with the other officers
and members of the society,
and members of the society,
and to uphold the Constitution
and to uphold the Constitution
and bylaws
And
and bylaws
of Phi Lambda Sigma,
of Phi Lambda Sigma.
I charge each of you now with the responsibilities of your respective positions and with the duty of upholding the honor and respect that is associated with your office.
So PLS means a lot to me. In 2013, when I was faculty at University of Hawaii, I actually founded the chapter there because they didn't have a chapter. And now that I'm here, and I've been here for many years, I'm really excited every year to welcome in all of the new members. And every year I give this talk at this PLS ceremony, and I always congratulate the new inductees, and I implore them to explore how, you know, the different ways they may come across as leaders in the pharmacy career as, you know, as they finish out the next few years and down the road. And I want to recognize that today you have all accomplished so incredibly much in traditional roles. So you have these titles and you have these responsibilities, but you've also had some non-traditional roles this past year. And in this past year, leadership has looked really different for a lot of people and in a lot of organizations. And I do want to congratulate you. I cannot underscore how excited and proud of you we all are. But I do want to remind you that this year was a little bit different. And you don't have to be reminded about all the awkwardness of it. You mean you thought that pharmacy school was hard enough to get through as it was. But this year gave us some opportunities for areas that we might not have considered as being leaders or growing within. Obviously, we've had a pandemic, right? We're doing this in a different format. It feels a little bit different. But a lot of you stepped up in ways that we might not have imagined, or in ways that we are just so humbled and inspired by. This might have been you volunteering, taking care of patients and keeping them safe. It might have meant that you were an essential worker, and maybe you still are considered an essential worker. Maybe it means that you stayed home because that was the safest thing for you to do. It maybe has meant that you've had to change events, workshops, different things that you would have normally done. You had to get creative and you had to think outside the box and be flexible. And maybe you had to present your research virtually. Maybe that was an opportunity that was modified for you. So my point is that a lot of things were modified this year. There were many different faces of leadership from COVID-19 that continue on and that have required you to be patient, to persevere, and to be a little bit creative. And then in the background, you've had students who've gone out to protest, to stand as leaders in the community because of civil and racial unrest. You guys have created new programs to help the wellness of each other and your peers. And you're just getting through these years. These are not easy years to begin with as pharmacy students, but you do it one day at a time in a profession that is highly dependent upon you. And you are stronger than you know. And so remember that. And I had forgotten that gold was the color of strength. And I think that's really important. So just remember, this is what leadership is, right? Like, we adapt to these things. We are flexible. We take care of the people around us, and we stand up for what we believe is right and for the people who can't. And I think one of the things that I was reminded of most this year, as far as leadership goes, is that the titles don't make us, right? It's what we do. It's the actions that we take. And so I will encourage you to continue to hone the skills that have brought you this far, and what I think are particularly crucial right now. So being transparent in communications with anyone, being creative, being tenacious. So having tenacity is so, it's just such a great trait, and to exercise that empathy, because that empathy for your patients and for the people around you should never, ever go away, no matter the circumstance. And it hasn't for any of you guys. And eventually this crazy period will tamper down and we'll come back to what's a new normal, and leadership will kind of go back to what it's been in the past and what we are used to thinking of it as pharmacists and in life. And I hope you guys look back at this time, right? It's a crazy time. You might have made like more banana bread than you can remember, and you might have gotten really good and really creative with Zoom. But I hope that you think back at this as a time where you got to flex your leadership skills and get involved with things in ways that you might not have thought of doing before. I hope that this reminds you of all that you've done and all that you'll continue to do to make pharmacy and the world a better place. And despite the weirdness of the time, please, please don't let this format, this virtual format, minimize the importance of this ceremony or you being inducted into this. Remember that this is a lifelong membership and it should not be minimized. You guys have all worked so incredibly hard during normal and during pandemic times, and you are our leaders. You are the future of pharmacy. And I just want you all to know that all of the faculty cannot be reiterated enough. We are so incredibly proud of all of you, and you really should be proud of yourselves and your accomplishments. So with that, I say congratulations and welcome to PLS.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Manat-Saganian. I also noticed that we have one other faculty PLS member who's been clapping along the way, Dr. Namba. And so I wanted to just recognize her as well. And I also want to send out a heart of gratitude for Christine, who has just worked tremendously hard to make this so successful and just, you know, think out of the box to figure out how we can make everything happen. And that's pretty much our motto. As Dr. Manat-Saganian said, tenacity, keeping positive, making things happen. As many of you I've worked with in the past several months, you find that we've got to create a plan and then have a backup and then have a backup to the backup, and you know, but that's what we do. And that's what's going to make you outstanding pharmacists. And like I said, we're so thrilled and proud of you for what you've done now and can't wait to see what you do, as Dean McCarrow said. So with that, I'd like to congratulate you, wear your pins with honor, and we will end our ceremony. And I wish I could give you guys big hugs and virtual hugs to everybody. Congratulations. And we'll see you the next time we can possibly see you.